The life activity of respiration can be divided into two parts: internal or cellular respiration and external respiration, also known as breathing. Internal respiration occurs at the cellular level and involves extracting ATP energy from glucose. We've already discussed this type of respiration in Unit 2. This lesson will focus on external respiration, which involves inhaling the oxygen necessary to conduct internal respiration and exhaling the carbon dioxide waste produced by the internal respiration. Inhalation and exhalation are the two actions that make up breathing. They are controlled by the muscles of the rib cage and the diaphragm. The diaphragm is the muscular layer that separates the abdominal cavity from the thoracic or chest cavity. During inhalation, the diaphragm contracts, the volume of the chest increases, and air flows in. During exhalation, the diaphragm relaxes and air is pushed out. When you breathe in, the air first passes through the nasal cavity, which is a mucous membrane. The mucus produced here helps to moisten and filter the air. The specialized cells that line the nasal cavity have tiny hairs called cilia that help to sweep away the particles caught in the mucus. The air then passes into the pharynx, where the mouth and nose connect. The pharynx splits into the esophagus, which leads to the stomach, and the trachea, or windpipe, going to your lungs. A flap of tissue called the epiglottis covers the opening to the trachea when you swallow, so food doesn't go down the wrong tube. Just behind the epiglottis is the voice box, or larynx. The larynx contains the vocal cords that vibrate to produce the sound of your voice. Next is the trachea, or windpipe. Just like the nasal cavity, the inside of the trachea is lined with cilia that sweep foreign particles out of the airways. On the outside, the trachea is ringed with cartilage to prevent the tube from collapsing. The trachea splits into two branches called bronchioles, which lead to the lungs. The bronchioles continue to split and branch, eventually leading to a cluster of alveoli. Alveoli are small air sacs surrounded by a network of capillaries. It is here that oxygen and carbon dioxide diffuse into and out of the blood. When blood flows into the lungs, it has a high concentration of carbon dioxide and a low concentration of oxygen. The air filling the lungs is high in oxygen and low in carbon dioxide. Therefore, carbon dioxide diffuses out of the blood into the alveolus, and oxygen diffuses from the alveolus into the blood. When you exhale, the carbon dioxide waste leaves the lungs and travels back out through the bronchioles and trachea. Like any system in the body, the respiratory system is susceptible to disease and disorders. Bronchitis is a condition in which the bronchial tubes become inflamed and clogged with mucus. Symptoms include shortness of breath and coughing up mucus. Asthma causes the bronchial tubes to narrow, making a person suffering an asthma attack to feel like they are suffocating. Emphysema occurs when the alveoli become large and break down. This causes a decrease in the amount of air the lungs can hold. A person with emphysema experiences shortness of breath with even the slightest activity. Smoking is considered one of the causes of emphysema. Another disease correlated to cigarette smoking is lung cancer. Lung cancer is an uncontrollable growth of tumors in the lungs, which can eventually lead to death. Pneumonia is an infection caused by bacteria or a virus. The alveoli fill up with a fluid, which prevents gas exchange in the lungs and makes breathing difficult.